Let's have a moment of brutal honesty. Most of you enter a room and have the presence of a piece of beige wallpaper. You walk in, you blend in, and you leave without anyone remembering your name or the fact that you even took up oxygen in the vicinity. You think charisma is something you're born with, like blue eyes or a trust fund. It's not. Charisma is a biological hack. It's a set of psychological signals that tell the primates around you that you are the person in charge. Today, we are dismantling the manual and replacing it with the architect's protocol. I'm going to give you the 5 signals that force people to pay attention, even if you're the quietest person in the room. If you're tired of being the background character in your own life story, pay attention. We're about to turn your social presence from a polite suggestion into a mandatory command. Signal 1, the stillness power. Most people are leaky. They fidget, they touch their necks, they check their phones every 11 seconds, and they nod their heads like a bobblehead on a dashboard. In the language of the brain, this screams submissiveness. You are literally leaking your status through your nervous system. The architect is still. Stillness is the ultimate high-status signal because it proves you are not threatened by your environment. When you speak, you don't use your hands to beg for approval. When you listen, you don't tilt your head like a confused golden retriever. You are the fixed point that the rest of the room rotates around. Think of a lion. A lion doesn't pace nervously to see if the gazelles like him. He just exists. If you want to be respected, stop moving like you're trying to escape. But stillness is just the frame. If you want to know how to actually paint the picture and control the conversation without being the loudest person in it, you need signal number 2. Signal 2, the pause of power. Lower status people are terrified of silence. When they speak, they rush their words as if they're afraid someone is going to cut them off, which, let's be honest, they usually are. They use and like to fill every gap because silence feels like a vacuum that might suck away their relevance. The architect weaponizes the gap. If you want to command a room, learn to pause. Pause before you answer a question. Pause in the middle of a sentence for dramatic effect. It signals that you are comfortable holding the floor and that you don't fear being interrupted. It forces the other person to lean in. It makes your words feel like heavy stones dropped into a still pond rather than a spray of gravel. If you can't handle 3 seconds of silence in a conversation, you aren't leading it. You're just surviving it. Now, once you've mastered the silence, you have to handle the most dangerous weapon in the room: eye contact. And no, staring like a serial killer isn't the goal. Let's look at signal number 3. Signal 3, the gaze hack. There is a massive difference between staring and seeing. Most of you look away the moment someone makes eye contact because you're subconsciously checking for an exit, or you overcompensate and stare so hard it feels like you're trying to count their eyelashes. Both are amateur moves. The architect uses the delayed gaze. When someone speaks to you, give them your full attention, but when you look away, do it slowly, as if you're processing a complex thought, not as if you're scared. More importantly, when you enter a room, don't look at the floor or your phone. Look at the horizon line. It tells the room that you are scanning your kingdom, not looking for a place to hide. You aren't searching for approval, you're searching for information. But looking the part is only half the battle. If you want people to actually follow your lead, you have to understand the law of least effort in signal number 4. Signal 4, the effortless superiority. Have you ever seen someone try too hard to be cool? It's painful. It's like watching a middle-aged dad try to use Gen Alpha slang. True charisma is effortless. This is the psychological concept of pre-selection. When you act like you've been there before, people assume you belong there. Stop explaining yourself. Stop apologizing for things that don't require an apology. Sorry for the late reply. Sorry to bother you. Sorry. Can I just say, stop? You are essentially apologizing for taking up space. An architect doesn't ask for permission to exist. You provide value, you state your case, and you move on. If they don't get it, that's a them problem, not a you problem. The moment you start trying to convince people of your value, you've already lost it. We've covered the body and the voice, but the final signal is the one that separates the influencers from the icons. Welcome to the final boss. Signal 5, the selective mystery. Most of you are oversharers. You're an open book written in Comic Sans. You tell your life story to the Uber driver. You post your every vibe on your story. You have zero mystery, which means you have zero pull. The architect is a closed loop. You give people just enough to keep them curious, but never enough to make them feel they've figured you out. Think of it as the information vacuum. People are naturally drawn to what they don't understand. By being selective with your words and your personal life, you create an aura of importance. People will naturally fill in the blanks with their highest expectations of you. Silence is the canvas upon which other people paint your greatness. Let them. The final descent. Charisma isn't a personality trait. It's a strategy. It's the art of managing how the world perceives your value. Most of you will leave this video and go right back to fidgeting, over-explaining, and begging for likes. You'll stay beige. But for the few of you who understand that the social game is just another empire to be built, start practicing the stillness today. Don't tell me you're going to do it, just do it. If you've made it this far, comment architect below. It tells me you're ready to stop blending in and start standing out. Subscribe to Rise Theory for the next protocol, or don't. The view from the top is better with a smaller crowd anyway. We're done here.